What's going on, guys? Pure Phoenix here, and I'm doing something a little different this time, casting two players who are outside the Southeast Asia server. We do have spawning up down the bottom left corner Legend, who is actually parting from Team Startail, and spawning up the top right is Leenock from Team FXO. Both of these are professional, well-known players who played in GSL and numerous other tournaments, Codes, so we will see definitely an very close matchup which will be engaging for my viewers. So you might be wondering why I'm casting players outside the SEA server. This is part of the IPL caster search tournament or contest where they're looking for casters to cast the qualifiers for the IPL. So that is something I'm interested in, and as it would give me an opportunity to increase my knowledge and skills as a caster, so hopefully I can at least learn from this experience. So nothing too unusual to comment this far into the game. The first few minutes, as anyone who plays, watches or casts will know, is generally and genuinely uneventful, but this pylon placement by Legend, or parting as I will now call him, allows a forward fast expand against the Zerg player, which is a build allowing a great macro advantage against Zerg players. So Leenock on the other hand has gone for the pool expand, so he's gone for the spawning pool first so that he can get some lings out, because generally Protoss will try to block this expansion with a pylon or a pylon and a cannon if they've gone for the forward fast expand. So Leenock getting the spawning pool about half finished before he throws down the expansion at 16. Expansion goes down for Legend at 15, and he chooses to throw it down before the forge. So this does leave the Protoss player a little bit more vulnerable. However, it's really down to preference. I mean, unless there's an extremely fast spawning pool like that finishes before 2 minutes or 2 minutes 30, you are generally going to be safe throwing down your Nexus before getting a cannon or getting a forge. So Gateway also goes down for for Legend, parting, and another pylon just here to decrease the size of the gap. So first Overlord's almost arrived at Protoss's base, and he will confirm a forward fast expand. Leenock, also Leenock's spawning pool has finished, and he is beginning to get some drones and a queen so that he can populate this expansion when need be. So these two lings run by the probe. However, the probe is being chased now by these two lings, while two lings on the other side will see if they can do any kind of damage by getting into the base or getting some kind of early scout, but generally the cannon will have finished before then. And timing by Legend, he goes whole position with the probe, nicely blocking the Zerglings out of the base, letting the cannon fire away a shot, but no lives were lost today. So the Zerglings will actually probably catch this probe, and no, they still don't catch the probe, so they might catch it before the cannon, but it would probably be wise for Leenock to back out. So by going the forward fast expand, you're on two bases as well as your fast expanding Zerg opponent, which can often encourage Zerg to grab a third, as Leenock has done. So at about the 4-minute 30 mark, he's throwing down his third base and really doesn't have any units to populate it with, but that's not a problem because he knows that his Protoss opponent will not have any units for a while either. So +1 coming out now, and a Stalker for Legend, so not opting for the Zealot, I don't believe. No, not opting for the Zealot, going straight for the Stalker, and he'll be able to have that range and maybe pick off a couple of scouting Overlords which are hanging around the base trying to see what tech option parting will go for. So Stalker almost finished, and Warp Gate Research also on the way. So nice little wall in for Legend, for parting, as it does allow a long kind of path before Zerglings would be able to get into the main and scout any kind of tech. So Stalker's kind of just clearing the Zelnaga towers and spotting for any Overlords that are caught on their own, but there don't seem to be any, but he doesn't know that there is one sitting right just inside his base ready to scout any kind of tech. So a sentry also finishes now for parting, and he is able to force field if an extremely large number of lings manage to come in, and speed also on the way for the Zerglings of Leenock. 4 gateways going down behind the mineral line of Legend, or parting, which is smart, as this Overlord probably won't see it, because generally he won't fly right above the Nexus at any time. He'll just fly through and he won't see any tech, so he'll be suspicious of something, certainly, maybe even a fast greedy third, but I don't think it would be enough to cause him to panic and create units, which he only has 4 Zerglings on the map at this stage and going very drone heavy. So we do see now a Roach Warren going down for Leenock, so getting another option in terms of units, and an Evolution Chamber as well, so that he can get those faster upgrades. Proxy Pylon tries to go down for Parting, or Parting tries to put a Proxy Pylon down, but these Zerglings almost get rid of it, but full gateways, warp in for Zealot, and the Zerglings no wiser and choose to fight another day and back off home. So another 2 gateways going down now for Parting. We will see 7 in total, but no next tier of tech yet, so just gateway units for now. There will be 7, and a couple of sentries caught on their own, but nice force field actually protects them, so protective force field done well there, and a couple more force fields actually trap all of the Zerglings, so nice micro there by Parting, and he'll get some free kills once these force fields end, even the range killing almost all the Zerglings, so nicely done there, some free kills. Leenock lost a lot of the units he had on the map, but 10 Zerglings in production as well as 6 more Roaches, so he's getting some units and trying to clear off these proxy pylons because you know they can cause trouble, and more force fields there by Parting, not managing to trap all the units this time, but he does get a couple of free Roach kills. That second Roach is about to go down, but it might actually be saved, and now with the reinforcements, Leenock is more capable of engaging. He does have a lot of Zerglings and Roaches, which give him that opportunity, and a Spine Crawl also going down at this third. Meanwhile, level 1 armor goes down and a robotics bay for Parting, but he is supply block due to losing that proxy pylon. However, there are proxy pylons kind of all over the map for Parting, so that he can constantly put pressure on this third base, which is a wise thing to do. Meanwhile, poor wall off by Parting has actually allowed a bunch of Zerglings, maybe 9 Zerglings run right into the main, and there's really nothing he can do to stop it. He manages to walk a couple of Zealots into the mineral line, but if there was some kind of hidden tech, he would be completely revealing himself. So Leenock did well there to run in nicely, but he will lose all of these Zerglings. There is no way out, and he'll just see if he can get some kind of kill. So he will have seen all 7 gateways, and he'll see something building, and probably know it is a robotics facility. So third going down shortly for Parting. I reckon he's got the proxy pylon in place, and he's moving his army forward. Leenock might be aware of this as he's moving some units around to put pressure on it. Yeah, Nexus about to be thrown down for Legend. So also we have more upgrades coming in for Leenock. We have +1 attack for ranged units, and we also have tunneling claws on the way. I believe. No, sorry, Glow Reconstruction, so Roach Speed is on the way for Leenock as well, which is really handy for getting away from encounters he doesn't want to be in, and also hunting down any stray stalkers such as these, but the army of Parting is still too close, and Parting getting supply blocked again due to losing proxy pylons, so he's invested a bit too heavily in having pylons placed all around the map at this stage and relied his supply count upon them. He's now throwing down 3 pylons in numerous locations. There they are, and a Twilight Council researching blink just begins. So Roach is moving around the map. Roach Speed has finished now, and he's also getting tunneling claws. Yes, so tunneling claws on the way, and he'll attempt to burrow the Roaches and move them around. However, I think with the observer and the robotics tech that Parting has, it's not going to be the best option. So small engagement here, nice force field by Parting. He's trapping a lot of free Roaches, and there's really nothing the Roaches behind can do about it. They're trying to take out the destructible rocks, but I don't think they're even going to be able to get there in time, so it'll probably be wise of Leenock to back out of there, and all of the Roaches trapped in the force field did die. Big bloodbath on this ramp, and third base finishes the Legend. So 3 bases each, no 4th base going down now for Leenock, and he's leading the supply count. However, if you look at the army, really I'd say Legend has more of a force. He's got now Immortals in his force as well, and Observers placed all around the map, so I really don't think Tunneling Claws is going to be much of an option. And Leenock now getting trapped again by force fields, so the force fields of Parting have been amazing this game. He will lose all of these units, of course. Immortals just tear through Roaches. He did manage to take out 1 Stalkers, but Immortals on the armored units of Roaches really just do so much damage, the same damage they will do against Marauders and Stalkers for anyone who has played against Immortals in their time. So a lot more units gathering now for Leenock. He probably could overwhelm this force, although the reinforcements do come from the left side, and he'll try to put some pressure on this third of Parting, but with the cannon and more force fields, I really like the force fields of Parting this game. He's managed to trap his opponent's units in unfortunate positions. He's always got sentries on full energy, and there they are again, so those Zerglings won't be getting away. He might as well try to run them in, but I think the cannon's just going to take them all out. So Parting's force fields have definitely kept him up in terms of army, because he's just been able to slowly divide the army of Leenock and get those kills. But Leenock is getting very close to max supply. He has Mutalisks on the way, 24 Zerglings on the way, and we will see probably some kind of pronged attack, but there's a bunch of workers not mining for Legend. I'm not sure why. They did just put down some cannons in the mineral line, and about 7 Mutalisks. There's now 12 Mutalisks on the field, but Legend with his large gateway force and an Immortal in the mix for those roaches. I'd hate to see how an engagement would happen. I mean, the force fields of Legend Parting could make anything happen, really, and he's now going to try to put some pressure on this third base, but I just think with that cannon there and the short distance between this ramp and the area at the third, it's really not wise for him to engage, although he's going to try to run up. He's going to run up all the way towards the natural base, and force fields again by Legend. Don't really trap any units this time, kind of just protect his own units and keep the Zerg forces at bay, but more Mutalisks on the way. We've got speed for Banelings. We've got all kinds of tech being researched for Leenock as he reaches 200 supply. He manages to bust into the main, taking out the forge, and he will go to work on the what is remaining of the cannons. There are Mutalisks, Roaches, and Zerglings all in. Legend Parting is trying to run up the ramp, but he doesn't really manage to get there in time before a fair bit of stuff is destroyed. Although Leenock, if he's not careful, could lose his whole army. His whole army is in fact trapped inside, and these Mutalisks though will take advantage of the army being right over at the main and go to work on the units at the third. So Parting running all the probes at his third away, and Templar Archives, so High Templars and maybe Archons will be in play shortly for Parting. However, Leenock's now running off 4 bases, and with that amount of lava, he can really easily remax. As you just saw, he lost the bulk of his army, but all of a sudden he's at 170 supply again. If we look at the income tab, he's leading the harvesters count by 15. He really wouldn't want to be any higher than that as a Zerg player. You don't need that many drones, and then you can just spend your larvae and supply on getting a large army. So observer placement has been good all day for Parting. Now this cheeky force of Mutalisk at the back could really attack either mineral line of Parting. There are no longer any cannons here, but Stalkers are being warped in everywhere to prevent some kind of Mutalisk effort. Now this Overlord sitting here, I'm not sure if Parting can't actually see that. It's a nice placement by Leenock. Now Leenock is gathering his forces still. He's got, that was 16 Banelings on the way at one stage with 40 more Zerglings on the way. We've got melee attack upgrade, and we've got Storm being researched. Level 3 attack on the way for Parting, and both players almost maxed here, and a max Protoss will beat a max Zerg in a head-to-head combat, but I don't think Leenock is up for a head-to-head combat with so many Mutalisks in the way now. About 30 Mutalisks heading for the mineral line, easily overwhelming the forces of Parting defending the base. Meanwhile, the Zerglings and a massive storm goes down on the Zerglings and the Banelings, and that force disappears in no time. So High Templars was a great call by Parting, although he might lose, and nicely walking them into Archon so that the High Templars didn't even regard the Banelings. Good force fields again, and the micro of Parting has really been good all day. I mean, the storm there was great, the force fields have been good throughout the game, trapping multiple units, and a lot of Mutalisks still going to work on this army, although the Stalkers should be able to do a fair amount of work on that. The Mutalisks don't have armor upgrade, and the Protoss Stalkers are level 2, almost halfway to level 3, so head-to-head combat with those Mutalisks is no longer really an option. And he might even, there might even be a storm or two here. I don't think he has the energy. So those, he did lose a couple of High Templars there, which is a fair bit of gas to be losing. 300 gas he just lost, but with the minerals and gas of both players kind of spiraling out of control, it's no longer going to be that big a problem. So we do have a Warp Prism on the way for Parting, so we might see some kind of drop at the 3rd or 4th because he knows he is down on bases and he needs to get back up somehow. So we'll see force fields again by Parting, trapping a few roaches there and been really impressive. So Baneling's in production and a great Aspire, so we will see some Broodlords on the map shortly. Still trying to put pressure on this 3rd. He might be able to run some Banelings right into the mineral line, but all game Parting's just had to run back and forth along, and he'll get some free if those Banelings can explode. Oh, he did get a fair few worker kills there. Meanwhile, Leenock up the top attacks Parting's 3rd base, and he'll actually take out almost all of the Nexus. He goes back to finish the job, and he still doesn't finish the job, so that Nexus remaining with 108 health, 5% of its overall health, and probably should have finished that off, even just leaving a couple of roaches to die, but actually getting the job done. So lucky for Parting that expansion finishes, because he is mined out of his main and he is not mining very strongly at his natural. So a 4th now going down for Parting, but I'll be surprised if Leenock allows it to finish and have workers in there. So many probes in here at the moment for Parting, and it really would have been disastrous if he lost that Nexus. So that was probably something that Leenock could have seen through. And yeah, no units really in production at the moment. Not that Leenock really needs any units, and a bunch of Broodlords now on the way. 9 Broodlords being morphed, and they will do a lot of damage, especially with the melee upgrades that Leenock does have. Oh, he only has +1 attack for melee, so Broodlings probably won't do as much damage, but Broodlords, regardless of force fields, can really start to eat away at Protoss armies. So Parting plans now on grabbing a 5th up the top left corner of the map, and there are only 2 bases unclaimed by each player at this stage, and Parting has vision of the base for Zerg, so they're equal on base count at the moment, 5 each, although there was a while when Parting was mining off 1 base really, and he still is kind of mining off 1 base, and that base almost went down. So it would have been devastating if Parting lost that base for the Protoss player. And look at the Broodlings, that is the damage they can do. They can be so many Broodlings, about 30 or 40 there, and they just destroy those destructible rocks. You hate to imagine what they would do unless they are a decent storm. And storms go down but really do nothing at all on the Broodlord, as a lot of Queens managing to get transfuses away nicely. Really, the storm should have been on something like the Broodlings or the Zerglings or even the Banelings. So a lot of energy wasted there for Parting, especially considering the transfuse managed to heal up whatever damage was done, but they are very slow units, the Broodlord, sorry, and could get caught out of position easily. So 5 Spine Crawlers been thrown down now for Leenock. A lot of static defense to secure this 5th base, and only 6 mineral patches and a high yield gas geyser, I believe it is. Yeah, I think it's a high yield gas geyser because there's only 6 mineral patches. Broodling's trying to chase down this army of the Protosses, and he manages to take out a Stalker or 2, and also a couple of High Templars were caught out of position, but they won't go down due to the amount of static defense that Parting has at his 5th. So nice storm there on the Broodlings, but really there's just so many the cannon can't quite keep up. So we'll now see a bunch of Stalkers going over trying to put some pressure on Leenock, but Leenock's just got so many roaches in position. And also the Broodlords are just hovering above the skies, creating those intimidating shadows above any Protoss units. And if you look at the supply count, Leenock's leading by 50 at this stage, and it's really something that is going to cause problems for Parting, because he has 65, so half of his current supply is workers, therefore half his army, whereas not even half of that is Leenock, and Leenock is even max. So some Queens and Infestors being caught out of position, Roaches reinforcing, and a nice fungal growth did get off before the Infestor died. And meanwhile, Broodlords start working away at this Nexus. This Nexus will go down very shortly, and the Stalker's not even attempting to save it. There's just too much for the Zerg. Immortal's caught out of position, can't do anything against the Broodlings really, and Parting is in some trouble here. He's going to try to do some damage here, but there's so many Spine Crawlers just getting picked away at all of those Stalkers. Did manage to take one down, and he'll take out a lot of the worker line of this base, but it's really not going to matter, and the supply count hasn't even deviated much. Mothership on the way, and a Void Ray for Parting, so he'll be able to get some damage done on the Roaches Ling, and there's really no anti-air apart from the Infestors, but it's looking like it's going to be a little too late. He's now losing his 3rd base, The Nexus that he should have killed a while back now goes down, and all of the workers that Parting had at this base will go down as well. The Broodling Lord just firing little Broodlings, which are so fast. So there are little skirmishes taking place all over the game, and I think these Roaches are going to catch all these Stalkers out of position. So this is going to be about 8 Stalkers going down, but nice blink by Parting, might be able to get away. And now he's kind of outnumbered. A Fungal Growth or 2 would do some damage, and oh, nice feedbacks by Parting on those Infestors, leaving them with very little health, leaving them about 10 health each. And over on the left side we do have all of the Brood Lords, and a Void Ray is going to work, but Corruptor's going to take out this this Void Ray before it actually kills too many of the Brood Lords. But that was a nice little mix-up by Parting. It was late in the game for it, and if you look at the supply count, things have really evened up, and all of a sudden Legend is now putting pressure on the 5th base of Leenock. It's really not going to be enough. I don't think there's not enough defense, but both players just attacking each other's base regardless. A larger Protoss force easily. All that Leenock has are Brood Lords and Infestors. All these Stalkers just going to take out this 5th easily, and the Workers will also go down. So at this stage I would have to say it is looking pretty even. I mean, neither player is going to GG unless they lose their army, so it could be a very long base trade due to the large number of buildings there are to kill. I think if Legend actually engaged this, he might actually be able to take it out, unless there are some nice fungal growth. But if he uses Blink well, that shouldn't be the case, but it doesn't really look like either player is going for a straight up engagement. There is a Mothership on the way, and that is just blasting little shots, leaving the drones on 4 or 5 health. Motherships do 6 health, which really isn't much, but they do it at a very high. They do 6 attacks, so they do almost kill a drone in 1 hit. Meanwhile, down here, the Brood Lords managing to infiltrate the main base of Parting. Parting moving his Stalkers into the natural of Leenock, and this is going to be a base trade. I don't think Leenock doesn't know about this heavily fortified base off the top left of Parting, and he now throws down a Dark Shrine, because I doubt there's going to be any Overseers. There might be a few Overseers. I don't see any Overseers, so there's not even any Overseers, and I think the DTs can easily change the game, because there won't be any detection for Leenock, and he will lose those Infestors, and from that stage the Stalkers, and if there's any Void Rays, even the Mothership will be able to go to work on those Brood Lords due to their lack of anti-air. So Stalkers taking out the spawning pool and anything else they can get their hands on. There are gas geysers and all sorts bleeding out across the map. Gas geysers don't actually bleed out when they're off screen, but pretty much everything else does. And Parting is now supply blocked, and he has lost his main base, but he has a base that is mining efficiently and it is defended, which is more than we can say for the Zerg player Leenock. So Brood Lords are going to do a lot of damage. There are no pylons, these are observers, so all that's really left in the game for Legend Parting is this base up the top left. That's all there is. So Leenock is now being revealed, and Parting knows he has to go and kill off all of these gas geysers before he can actually win the game. Getting some Overlord kills, that Mothership just doing horrific damage, and the gas geyser there goes down, the gas geyser there goes down, so I'm not sure what else it is that he sees that he knows he has to kill. So a gas at Parting's own natural is what he has to kill. He will have to probably go through the army of Leenock before he gets there. That is just looking like the course that he's going to have to take. But are there Dark Templars on the field yet? There are no Dark Templars, so he's just getting Archons from there, not actually using the Dark Templars to attack any of these Zerg forces. I think there is enough. Oh no, the Mothership cloaking all of those units, and there could easily be some fungal growth on all of these units, or does he? I don't think he has mind control. And there's the Vortex, so all of Zerg units are Vortex, and he hit a Storm on there, but I don't think that's actually going to do anything until the units are out of the Vortex. And he's dumping all his own units into the Vortex. A couple of Archons got in there as well, and I don't think many Zerg units are going to come out on the other side. There it is, they're just completely surrounded. Storms go down on all of those units, and the Zerg's forces are left in tatters, and the well won from Leenock, and he leaves the game. So that was looking like it's going to be a very close base trade, but basically I think that came down to Parting had the better micro all game. While he was looking low on bases throughout the game, and especially here, if he lost that Nexus, it could have been a turning point. But his micro with force fields along here and even up here, trapping units all day. All game. He's just wasted the money of Leenock by losing those units without being able to support them. So very well played by both players. Especially well played by Parting, who managed to take out the win. I hope you guys have enjoyed this cast, and as I said, this is entering the caster contest for IPL, and hopefully you guys see me sometime in the future. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.